What a journey it has been for Black Mesa. It took over 10 years, which started with a small group of modders who just wanted to make an HD mod for the original before turning it into its own standalone game. It's nothing short of a miracle that this small team of modders were able to focus on the end result despite all the hardship and heartaches, delivering what is now a beautiful finished product that'll wake up any Half-Life fan from its long slumber, and maybe even convince them to replay the original. I even dare say that Black Mesa surpassed the original, and not only in graphical terms.
Thank you, and have a very safe and productive day.
Let's dive a little deeper into the history before going back to the review. The idea behind Black Mesa came in 2004, when Valve released the source port for the original Half-Life game. Within the first hour, millions of fans were already expecting an HD remake from Valve, but were disappointed. Source port was just a demonstration on how easy it was for developers to build on top of Source. And it worked. A lot of developers bought licenses for the engine even years after Half-Life 2 launched. In the meantime, a lot of fans were looking forward to playing this marvel again, with all the modern doodads that the new engine could offer. Two teams did not sit idly by, however. League Free and Half-Life Source Overhaul Project decided to take on this monumental task. The initial idea quickly proved to be too overwhelming for a small group of modders. Lucky for us, the two teams decided to merge into what is now known as Crowbar Collective and christened the game Black Mesa. For many years, the developers gave us small tidbits of updates to keep us interested. A new model, some texture work here and there, a map design. It took a long while before we got something playable in our hands. It didn't help the development either that in 2007 they decided to switch to a newer version of Source. The company also had to deal with internal management issues. They didn't work in an office, they worked from home, which can cause a lot of oversight on a project of this scale. It's also a stroke of luck that Valve didn't swoop in and cause any problems. On the contrary even, Valve was enthusiastic about the premise and promised not to get in their way at all. The people at Crowbar Collective were even allowed to come visit Valve, and they were given complete freedom to use the engine, tools, and means to sell their game. That last part was a godsend. It gave them the ability to put their game on early access, which allowed them to accrue more funds they needed to recruit more talent. And for a while, things started looking up for Crowbar Collective. They released big portions of the game in quick succession. That was until they reached Zen. It took a while for the development team to wrap their heads around Zen. It was a huge challenge, both from a technical and organic standpoint. Zen had to feel alive. So, for a long time, the development team had to tackle the issues Zen presented. And not only that, but they began working on a portion of the game that divided the original fanbase, even to this day. Some claim that the game would have been better without it, while others claim that it doesn't get the appreciation it deserves. So the pressure was on at Crowbar Collective. How do they create a portion of the game that doesn't divide their fanbase the same way it did the original Half-Life? With the game now fully released and having seen Zen for myself, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Zen is nothing short of awe-inspiring. Within the first minute, you are bathed in its graphical glory that puts even modern titles to shame. How the development team pulled this off with a 13-year-old engine, we might never know. Source isn't as powerful as, let's say, Unreal 4, but what the development team pulled off here is nothing short of a miracle. The planet, the atmosphere, it just feels alive and believable. The rest of the game is not bad either. Crowbar Collective struck a good balance between staying faithful and modernizing. They understood how much world building and story was woven into the original. Each location, each room, having its own story to tell. The journey of Black Mesa goes through both rusted corridors and brand new secret labs. Some areas, like the dam on Surface Tension, have had a lot of remodeling done to make it feel a little bit more impactful. Other areas, like On a Rail, have been toned down and feel more linear than the original. But that's a good thing. It's now clearer to what is expected from you in this chapter without losing anything you didn't get in the original. It still tells the same tale.
Hello? Hello? Oh, thank heavens.
Up till now, I've done nothing but praise this title. Is there truly nothing wrong with this game? Well, Unfortunately, there is. And this is the part of the video where I might even anger a few viewers who are loyal to the Half-Life franchise. Just know that this is the opinion of one man trying to be unbiased to a franchise he loves as well. So, what's the bad part? Well, it's the engine. And I'm not talking about the visual fidelity. We got Zen, we can't complain here. No, I'm talking about the animation and the AI of the enemies you come across. It's not what we're used to seeing in a modern-day shooter. Monsters sometimes clip through doors or just crouch right in front of you without taking cover. There's also a lot of levels which have you climbing stairs, swimming through a flooded tunnel, or pressing buttons to start machinery. It feels old school and repetitive. Don't expect any Call of Duty-esque gameplay here with cinematic explosions. At best, you'll see an NPC or two listing lazily across the room as they talk. But don't let this minor discord keep you from playing Black Mesa. It is still a great game. It's a shining example of why we have such good memories of the classic FPS shooter Half-Life. A game that didn't bounce back when it came to the arsenal of weapons you could take with you, the challenging combat of its time, and the level design that wasn't shy on letting you wander off to figure out what you had to do next.
Just when I was starting to feel lonely.
My hat's off for Crowbar Collective, not just because of the way they handled the source material, but also because they modernized where necessary. In conclusion, this game gets an 8.5 out of 10. Black Mesa makes you realize just how original and fresh Half-Life was back in the day. The way you crawled through vents hearing the metallic noises it made while you were always on guard for the eventual head crab around the corner.
What the fuck was that?
Many weapons also stayed true to the original, although modernized in some areas. The grenade, for example, now has an alternate fire mode, and ammo has been made scarcer to make combat feel more intense because of the low resources. The music has also been completely redone, as have the voice lines, spoken by new voice actors who delivered their lines with the same style and attention the originals did.
Really? Push that button. Walk over here. Push this one. Stand and stare at the screen. Walk back over there. Push another button. Again.
Come now, you're overreacting.
And their biggest development challenge, Zen, became a technical and organic wonder that just breathes atmosphere into your lungs. Once you get over the bad animation and poorly scripted enemy AI, you'll have played a story that'll last you a generation. I guarantee it.
Time to choose.
The footage you saw in the background was brought to you by Treb the Gamer. If you want to see more of his content, head over to twitch.tv/TrebTheGamer. If you want your footage to be displayed next time, leave a comment and we'll look into it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you when I see you.
That's awesome.